Gary Jones? He was in Atlantic City the same time. He had a choice to see me at the Borgata or Matt Rife at Oceans, and he went and saw Matt Rife. And he didn't come to the Borgata.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Chris Distefano's here. Already has Danielle laughing.
Yes.
Sorry.
What did he say?
I don't know. He was talking about how he's always moving and why he's always moving, but the reasons are so stupid that it's funny.
Yeah, I just don't know how to build. I don't know how to build stuff. Like I'm not handy. My girlfriend, the mother of my children, the other day I walked in and she was putting up sheetrock.
Wow.
I swear, and I didn't really know what to do. I felt pretty emasculated. I was like, how do I help? And I went to the kitchen and I made 2 lemonades.
There you go.
That's helpful.
That's very
50s
helpful.
housewife. That's what I am.
So Chris was saying during the song, he and his family, with the mother of his children, his girlfriend, and 3 children, by the way.
Yes.
They move every 2 years.
Yep.
I would stick a fork in my eyeball if I did it. Why? She's
very mad at me for constantly moving. But then, you know what it is? I have a great place on Staten Island. Love Staten Island. Shout out Staten Island. I need to walk. I need to be able to walk to a store.
Okay.
I got to be able to walk to a store.
I get that.
Get a coffee, get a bagel, start thinking, and I can't walk anywhere where my house is. So I said, babe, we got to move to a place where I can walk to a store.
What made you move the time before that, though?
I don't know.
You didn't want to be near stores.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It was the pandemic, and I was just like, she wanted a backyard, and I was like, all right, let's go get a backyard, and she wanted a pool, so I was like, all right, let's get a pool. But then I was like, I got to clean the pool. I don't want to clean the pool.
So now you live nowhere near stores. So
right.
Now you're ready to move to a place near stores?
Now I'm ready to move to a place near stores. I'm moving back to Queens, where I grew up.
Right.
I'm moving back to Queens. My mom is 10 minutes away, and I'll just be able to walk to stores, and it'll be fun.
Are you getting a pool? Another pool?
No. I don't want to deal with a pool. I don't want to deal with a backyard. I don't want to deal with any of this. I can't. I don't have. I felt like the house owned me. I didn't own the house.
Okay.
And I felt like I can't do it. And every day I'm in the fetal position, and it's emasculating when your girlfriend is like, I'm the one. She's mowing the lawn. She's doing everything, and I'm like, I'm going to do the homework with the kids.
You know what? I hear you doing the emasculating thing, but I'm not buying it. I think you love it. I think you love that she's out there putting up sheetrock and you're making lemonade. I think you're okay with that.
I am.
Am I calling you out?
I am in the closet, yes.
Chris Distefano has been doing this for a while. It's not like an overnight success, and he wakes up one morning like today learning he's sold out his show at Radio City tomorrow. And, of course, you're at the theater at Madison Square Garden on Saturday.
Yes.
Is the business of being a comedian a good thing right now? Is it a great time to be a comedian? Because being a comedian frightens the living hell out of me.
Listen,
the thought of it.
Right now, I feel like being a comedian, you have to just not care about what anybody says at all, because I think the thing that we've realized is you're always going to have somebody who gets offended by what you say, who wants to take your livelihood away and cancel you. And if you just if you just keep going and are not like a criminal, then everybody just shuts up. They realize they don't have the power that they think they have in cancel culture or whatever. It's you just keep moving forward and you'll just get more fans. But for me, what I did is I got off the internet completely.
Well, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Listen to what he did. What about a year ago?
Yeah, last August.
Totally unplugged from social. Of course, you'll see. You have a great post all over social, Chris, but someone else is doing that for you.
Someone else is doing that for me. I have my 8-year-old daughter. No, someone else. Someone else is doing it. I've just delegated that responsibility to someone because I was like, I'm on social media every day and I feel like it's making me sick. I'm comparing. Not only do I compare myself to others, I was always comparing me to me, and I would forget that I posted this picture of myself 6 months ago that was cropped lighting and it was the 10th picture, and then I'm like, oh, look at how much happier I was back then, but I'm forgetting that I wasn't happy back then. I was happy now, but I was convincing myself that I wasn't. So I was like, let me just get off this completely. I read this quote by Teddy Roosevelt. He said, comparison is the thief of joy. And I was like, that's all I'm doing. This is a comparison tool. Or comparing even my peers. I would go to a city, sell out a show or have a good show, even if it didn't sell out, and be like, oh, I'm happy. But then I would see, because the algorithm someone else was coming next week and they had 5 sold out shows or whatever. And I'm like, then that would make me feel.
Wow.
So I was like, let me just get off this. And then I did. And then next thing you know, I was like, I eat too much. I eat too late. Why am I always doing that? And then little by little, I started intermittent fasting. And then a year later, I'm like, dropped like 40 pounds, changed everything. I still can't screw in a light bulb, but I got.
You have a girlfriend who does that for you.
Yes. But I got much healthier mentally and physically.
Okay, see what's going on here. And Chris and I were having a conversation where I said, look, I'm almost 60 years old, and I'm to the point in my life where I don't know where this is going because we have finite number of breaths left. You, at an earlier age, have figured out being self-aware is such an important ingredient that it's a gift you give yourself. Right. I feel like I could be eating better. I feel like if I get off social media, I'm going to go ahead and squelch all that bull crap out, and I'm going to live a better life. See, a lot of us don't stop and make the connections, but you did, and this is great. You're seeing a payoff.
Well, I started to like talk to people who are older, like in my business, and the common theme that I heard from them, moms and dads, like, people who are on world tours and all that, other comedians, they're all like, yeah, I wish I would did less shows because I missed so much of my kids' life. I kept hearing that, and I was like, man, I have little kids. I don't want to miss their life, and even if it means less money, I'll be able to like spend time with them. But, my kids, that's the thing. It's like I do that for them, but like they don't care. Like I have, I'm doing Radio City tomorrow. My 8-year-old.
They couldn't care less.
No, she's mad at me because she's like, I'm like, you excited about just yesterday morning? I was like, you excited about this weekend? She's like, no, because I had a play date at Rob's Bowling Alley on Highland Boulevard with Layla, and now I can't go because you have stupid Radio City.
We love Rabs. We've been there many times.
Yeah, I was like, I gave up thousands of dollars for you to be here, and I guess don't come.
Then you get all
Yeah.
Well, as a parent, I mean, if you're saying it's a great time to be a comedian, right? I read you say that somewhere. But what about being a parent? I assume being a parent, you must be as aware of them as you are of yourself when you try to better yourself. I mean,
right.
if I had 3 kids in the kitchen, I would pull my hair out, and most of it's gone anyway, and I'd be going a little crazy. But you have this unique way of reading the room with your kids, right?
With kids, I kind of am like, you know what? When we made the decision to have kids, I was like, I've already, in a positive way, blown up my life anyway. I'm already made it crazy. So it's like, whatever they do is like, I feel like kids communicate through behavior. They don't communicate really through words. So when they're having like a rough day or they just won't do anything, it's like they're really just trying to say like, Dad, I'm hungry. I had a bad day at school. So I just try to like talk to them as much as I can and try to figure it out. But if they're having a bad day, I'm like, you know what? This is part of being a parent. I always try to go into it, especially like big days, like if you go to like Disney or you're out at the mall with them, it's like they're not going to do what you want them to do. What I've realized is like I try to only control what I can control in life, and I really do feel like I cannot control my kids. They're in charge, not me. So, but that doesn't mean like I let them like, step on me. I'm like, they are dictating how this day is going to go, not me. I think the parents that think that they're in charge, you're not. The kids are going to do whatever they want to do, and you just have to keep them safe.
I'm hearing something here.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, to a point, you're right.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Says the parent, the other parent.
Yeah, you go through days where they are going to do what they want to do, but I think I'm sure you set boundaries and stuff.
Oh no, of course, that's what I'm saying.
No boundaries.
I don't let. Yeah, right. Yeah, whatever they want to do. Yeah, they shoot me with a paintball gun every time I walk in. I think that. It's just for frustration levels. I feel like I would always find myself getting frustrated with my kids when I'm trying to make them do something that I want them to do and they're not going to do it. So it's like, how do I make it a game? How do I adjust things? The devices, trying to, I try to get them off the tablets and devices, but it's like, it's a part of their world. So now I just try to limit it. I try to just mix it in with books. You
know what I'm hearing here? What's this comedy thing is like, you're done with it? You should be a life coach.
Yeah.
Me? I know. No, don't poo-poo it so fast there.
Fine.
Chris, you really are speaking with a heavy high amount of logic here.
Well, I'm on mushrooms.
Okay, there's that.
I just keep telling myself every time something bad happens in the house or I get frustrated, I'm gonna miss this one day.
Yes.
I'm gonna miss this one day.
Yes, I try to remind myself when I'm like, I wish my 2-year-old was out of diapers, or I wish my 8-year-old was just, older, so we could she'd want to go to like a baseball game with me, and then I'm like, no, you got to stay in the present, which each moment that
it
they
goes fast.
This is way too logical for us.
Yeah.
But I love that. Okay, so you got into better eating. You
Right.
gave up social media, and you're
Right.
finding that you're you're owning your world. And here you are selling at Radio City. Isn't it funny how these things happen? The text message is so great listening to my favorite people in the morning with my favorite comedian. I love Chris. Saw him last year. He's down to earth, hilarious. Should let Chris know there are companies on Staten Island that can clean that pool and put those chemicals in.
True.
You sold at Radio City, so you can afford it.
Radio City costs a lot of money, by the way, to rent out. You don't make as much money as you think.
It's true. My favorite comedian. I can't believe you have him on. I can't believe you have Chris is my favorite. They love you.
Oh, good.
If you're just turning us on, Chris Distefano is here. And I remember when we first met you. It was what?
2019 is when I think I came in. I had a big, fat, bloated pumpkin head.
Look at that. Look how sharp his mind was. He remembered a date.
I was drinking every day, just a big, fat idiot.
So you're not into like doing edibles and drinking?
Oh yeah, of course. I do it. I just try to do it. I just try to do it as much as I can in like a window. Like the intermittent fasting. Like I try not to go after 6 o'clock. I try to just shut it down no matter what, except like one day a week. Like after these shows, I mean, listen, after the shows on, Radio City Friday and then Theater at MSG Saturday, I'm going to feel such a pressure relief. I don't know what I'll do. I'll do heroin. I don't,
Don't
do that.
No.
This escalated quickly.
I'll be excited and I'll eat and have fun, but I just try to stay like in these framework if I can. But I mess up a lot, but I've just tried to make like little changes.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
So what makes you so funny? A dumb question. Let me ask it a different way. If you weren't you and you went to see you, what would make you laugh loudest? What is it that you do that's resonating with people and they say, hey, do that bit again where you talk about the blah, blah, blah. What makes you so funny? I find you hilarious.
I'll tell you where they don't find me hilarious. Kansas City. I'm selling no tickets at the Uptown Theater in Kansas City.
Why? Well, how come they don't like you out there?
I don't know what I did to the good people of Kansas City. But they just don't. They're not buying tickets. So by the way, I'm coming. You're not going to make me cancel the show. I'm coming. I don't care if there's 10 there. I'm coming. I'll sleep at one of your houses.
All 7 of you are going to love the show.
I will not cancel.
Room to spread out.
I don't know what makes. I think what it is for me. Comedy is it's like a defense mechanism. My sense of humor. I remember where I even started thinking about like my mom was the one who told me. I remember being like 8 years old, 9 years old. And I was playing basketball, like CYO, like youth basketball. And I asked her, I was like, what is my talent? What do you think my talent is? And I wanted her so bad to say like, your jump shot, you're a basketball player, you're going to be in the NBA. But, I was sitting on the bench at 9 years old. It's like, it's not going to happen. And she was like, your sense of humor. And I was like, what? She was like, your sense of humor. That's what I think it is. And then I didn't realize that so many times, like she made me remember, like my parents were divorced. And my dad would call me like every night, a great father. He would call me. He lived on Staten Island. We lived in Queens. And he would call me and he would call me killer. I remember he would always be like, where's my killer? And I would hear his voice from my mom would say, honey, your dad's on the phone. And I would start to cry immediately because I missed him so much. But he was such an old school tough guy that like I had it in my head, like you can't cry in front of a guy like this. So I would quickly just try to like breathe and then think of a joke, think of something funny to tell him or a funny story I made up. But that was just like my defense mechanism because I didn't want him to think I didn't want him to know that I was actually crying. And I probably had some little kid corny joke, but it was like my attempts always. And my mother would listen. She'd be like, you've always done that.
But you have to have the humor in there or you can't find it. Yeah. But you did. Is your dad still around?
Oh, yeah, he's still around. Yeah, I don't know how, but that guy is still around.
Have you cried in front of your dad yet?
And he has both feet, which is like, if you would have told me 15 years ago my father was not going to lose a foot from diabetes, I'd be like, I bet you $100,000 he does. That guy's got 2 healthy feet.
Did you ever cry in front of your dad?
My father? Have I cried in front of my father? That is a good question. No, I still haven't. Okay. I've cried in front of my mother many times, but I have not cried in front of my dad.
Well, you don't have. You don't have.
Yeah,
to.
you know what? I'm going to do that on stage tomorrow.
No,
night.
no.
6,000
It'll be
people.
hilarious.
I'm going to be like, you know what,
Dad.
this is for you.
Oh, you know what? Don't say that. You're going to get triggered. Hey, Froggy, did you have a question for Chris?
Yeah, I know that he's a huge, giant Luke Combs fan. I love that.
Dude, I love Luke Combs. I love country music. Chrissy country music. I just got into it about 6 months ago. I'm late on the country train.
So did Froggy.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm in Froggy. I'm in Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs,
T-Rat.
T-Ret. I'm in on all of them. That one I don't know, but I will just. I'll co-sign.
Thomas
Oh,
Rhett?
yeah, Thomas Rhett. Yeah, I listen to the same couple of things, but I love it. I'm in, and yeah, shout out Luke Combs.
So Froggy's
It is.
doing something interesting, which I think we all can learn a lesson from. He's sort of maneuvering into a new lane where he's been on our show for so many years, but now he's in Jacksonville. He's the program director of the number one country station in Jacksonville. He's like Mr. Country Music now. All the stars love him. He's friends with all of the above.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. It's wild how you can change lanes. Changing lanes in life is such an amazing gift you can give yourself. It really, truly
It's
is.
fun, and it also resharpens when you kind of get bored in what you're doing. It resharpens you and kind of re-energizes your mind to start doing and learning other new things.
There you go. Shout out Jacksonville. Isn't it the biggest city geographically in the U.S.?
It is. It is the largest landmass city in the United States.
What a weird. I know. I feel like that's.
Do you know,
Do you
like-
care about
Are
that?
you like
Do you-
Jeopardy
Like, do you
guy
know a lot
over
of this?
here?
You know a lot of stuff.
It is,
I
though.
don't
He's
know
right.
why I know that, but that's anytime I think of Jacksonville, I'm like, they have so much land, but like that's
It
they
is.
just have
You
land.
can drive for an hour and you're still in Jacksonville. You're
Yeah,
like,
we're
well,
like-
how the hell am I still in Jacksonville? But you are.
We're on there. They're texting in. They want you to come to Jacksonville.
I came to Jacksonville last year. Where the hell were you?
Okay, so you're not doing social media and everything anymore, right? You're off the internet. Do you feel like that's taken a big chunk of things to make fun of away from you? Because that's the best.
I know it. Listen, it is, and I'll still like the guy who runs my social media will still send me stuff like, "Oh, take a look at this," whatever. So it's still in my life. I'm just not constantly on it all the time. But for me, my comedy is all about my family, and it's very autobiographical. So I read a little bit about the news each morning. I deleted the news apps too because I felt like, especially the national news apps.
Because
I
it's
mean,
all bad.
it's all negative, kind of like fear porn stuff. So I watch the local news. Shout out Rosanna Scotto. I watch the local news. I love Rosanna. That's who I watch in the morning because I'm like, it's about, it's close to me. It's like they'll probably just, do the stories that matter. And I talk specifically usually about my family. That's why my only goals in comedy have ever been, the only reason because I was a physical therapist. So I liked being a physical therapist too. I liked, working with the people I worked with. But I always wanted to do a show at Madison Square Garden, like the arena, like get to Madison Square Garden and make a sitcom about my dad. So those are my two goals. So if I can reach those two, I'm very comfortable with like, I don't have to do this thing forever. Like I'm all about like, you're only going to live once, so like why not experience everything? I might go the first 50 straight, the last 50 gay. I don't know. It's possible.
Leave your options open.
Smile. Let's go to Rosanna Scotto. There you go.
I knew it.
There it is.
So someone sent a text and asked him about Rosanna Scotto, who happens to be my best friend in the world.
Dude, I love Rosanna.
But I was like, well, I don't know if I want to ask him that blindly because what if they're having this big fight?
No, you kidding me? Rosanna Scotto, she's had me come in there a few times, and I'm just Rosanna Scotto. I swear, I'm not just saying this because you guys are here, but people like you, the Elvis Duran, the Z Morning Zoo, I would listen to like when I was a physical therapy student, 19, 20 years old, was like, I would love to be a comedian one day. And I talked about this last time. I remember listening to Dane Cook was on and I was like listening to him. He was like sold out Madison Square Garden. He was here and I was like, what is that guy's life like? It must be amazing. And I was like, if I ever got the opportunity to do that one day, oh my God. And then it came and I'm like, wow, I'm just sitting in the green room with Garrett. But it was, which is fun.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm just, we're just talking about house real estate in New Jersey. So it's not as glamorous as you think, but
So true.
But I was like that, and Rosanna Scotto listening, I would watch her. That's who my mom would have on in the news in the morning, and I'm like, wow, all these people, like from my child to whatever, adolescence, early 20s, when I was like, I had this like vision and dream to do it, and even if I don't hit like my biggest goals, I'm like, just the simple fact to be with some of you people, in my life. I'm like, oh wow, like I actually said I was gonna. I remember making the choice on the elliptical at Force Fitness in Ridgewood, Queens, on Fresh Pond Road. I said I'm gonna do comedy tonight. I'm sick and tired of thinking about it. I'm gonna get on stage and do it. I'm just gonna go do an open mic and do it.
Okay,
and
listen to
I remember
this.
that moment, and then
Listen to this. I'm telling you right now, life coach, it's where you're at.
Yeah,
Rosanna Scott, by the
seriously.
way, if you're listening in Kansas City, and the reason why you don't want to go see this guy is because he's talking about someone you don't know about, Rosanna Scotto. She's a huge, huge superstar here in New York City. She hosts Good Day New York on Fox 5.
Yes.
She's fabulous. So now, if you live in Kansas City and you're listening to us, who's your local news star? Send it to Chris. He will talk about them.
100%.
All right.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
do it.
having lunch with her tomorrow.
Rosanna Scotto?
Yeah, she's spending the weekend with me in a couple weekends.
Her restaurant's awesome.
I'll be there tomorrow. Come see us.
The
All right, I'm
potato
dropping
chips
in.
with the gorgonzola cheese on it.
Yummy, yummy in my tummy.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Hey, okay, so let's talk about comedy these days.
Yeah.
One of the, and I knew we would get a text about this guy for some reason. Hey, I love this Chris guy. Does he know Matt Rife?
Sure, of course. Who doesn't know Matt Rife?
I mean, talk about this. This is one of the many great
yes.
comedy stories.
Yes.
Right?
So Matt Rife represents how comedy has evolved. Like I started in 2010, right? And in 2010, there wasn't the internet. There wasn't, the ability to make clips and put clips out there. Of course, there wasn't TikTok or anything like that. And, what's evolved with comedy now is it used to be long form. Everybody was going for their hour comedy special. Now it's short form. It's completely changed. Our sensibilities have changed. Our attention spans have changed. It's 100% changed. And the people who are still in the long form, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But the public is not consuming it this way anymore. They're consuming it the way Matt Rife put it out, which is short clips, crowd work. I think the beauty, the genius of Matt Rife to me is when I watch him as, fellow comedian, I'm like, what he's doing is amazing because he's doing his comedy, which is great, but he's making the audience, they feel like they can be a part of his videos too. So they're paying and being like, not only will I get to go see him, but I might actually be on his actual show, which is a clip stream on TikTok. So you're like, the people they feel like I'm taking a chance for myself to get fame, for myself to have my face in front of millions of people. So it's smart and genius. And the thing with Matt Rife is like anything else, there are no overnight successes. If you've just heard of Matt Rife now, great, good, go to his shows. But I've known Matt Rife for 10, 12 years.
Isn't that crazy?
He was 15 years old at the comedy clubs in LA. Like everybody knew about him. He was a 15-year-old kid that was doing comedy and everybody's like, who is it? And now, so he didn't come overnight. Like there was no shortcuts with Matt.
He'll never be on our show.
I wish I had his lips. I really wish I had his lips.
He's
Why
got
won't he do
lips.
the show?
What about his abs? Get his abs.
How about this? Double date. Me, you, Rosanna Scotto, Matt Rife.
I'll tell you why Matt Rife will never be on our show. I've got his phone number. And one night, Alex and I were up drunk watching back then, he had a YouTube special. I mean, he didn't have anything beyond him. And we're like, whoa. So I was texting him, you're great. Come on the show, whatever. And then I think we sent him a D pic. I'm not quite sure what happened.
Sure. It happens.
I'm kidding. I did not do that.
Z Morning Zoo.
I did not do that. No, I think we irritated him. Now he won't. Now he doesn't need us. He sells out. Doesn't need to come on the show.
I'm calling Matt.
You don't need us. You're selling out, but you show up. You're a friend.
Scary Jones. He was in Atlantic City the same time. He had a choice to see me at the Borgata or Matt Rife at Oceans, and he went and saw Matt Rife. And he didn't come to the Borgata.
Scary
I hope they steal your credit card info.
Oh my God, it's scary. Oh my God, they did.
Yeah,
here's scary. I got a bigger name online too. Gotta go.
It's an MGM property.
Yeah.
I'm sure my card is gone.
And then I saw him he was at the Jonathan Peters day party, and I'm standing there, with general admission. He's in private, drinking, having fun.
I know.
I'm standing there with a hot dog and a water.
Scary,
Idiot.
Scary. His ultimate weekend is a W hotel with a foam party at the pool.
Yeah, the hell.
Wait, do people say to you, you're from Staten Island, do you know Pete Davidson?
Of course.
All the time,
Yeah,
right?
of course. That's but Pete, Pete Davidson, Sal Vulcano from all the Impractical Jokers, Vinny Guadagnino, all those
Joe
Staten
Gatto.
Islanders.
Love
Joe
Joe.
Gatto, everybody. So
Joe Gatto is the nicest guy in the world, by the way.
best. Are you kidding me?
I just get these texts out of nowhere. He sent me one yesterday.
Yeah,
Hey
and
man,
by the way,
just thinking about you.
Guess who was sitting, who paid for a ticket to come to my show at the Borgata? Joe Gatto. Not
Nice
scary.
guy.
Scary.
Literally paid for
Scary.
a ticket.
Scary wouldn't even use his free ticket.
Unbelievable. Scary wants to be in the background of a Matt Rife video.
She does. It's so bad.
The
He
hell?
wants it so bad.
Dude, it's weird.
God. Hey, look, Chris, I'm just, and I don't know if I said this when I saw you for the first moment today, but I just, congratulations.
Thank you.
On everything. And you have no idea, and I'm not trying to like harp on this, but just hear me out. You have no idea about how maybe a good dozen stories you told us today are worth considering and life-changing. And I'm not kidding. I'm not full of crap here. I'm serious. And how you handle your kids and how you handle your body, your life, everything. You're really a positive, wonderful guy. And I'm hoping you're not like a sour bitch inside.
Do you throw plates behind closed doors?
Do you throw?
No.
Do you throw plates?
No, I really don't. I get. What do I get angry? I'm angry watching sports. That's about
There
it.
you
Everything
go.
else,
Like
I'm
Froggy.
calm. Yeah, that's it.
All you country fans, you get yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
But no, in all sincerity, thank you so much. Because,
for having me.
you're doing what they say. You're leaving this room a much better place than you entered into it as. So, thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
So, when
Thank
Chris
you.
Distefano comes to Kansas City,
Yes.
we expect you. By the way, if you don't live in KC, make sure you call your friends that live there and say, you got to go see this guy.
Yeah.
It's not a pity thing. It's something that they need to see. What?
We got one.
What do we got?
I live in Kansas City. I love to laugh. I have tickets to his show. I cannot wait. Not all people in Kansas City are duds. Love you guys. We found one.
Dude, there you go. Can you bring a small school to the show? We have about 900 open seats.
Whoa, is that big?
They said they would if you
It's
bring
like
Matt
2,000
Rife.
seats.
If you bring Matt Rife, they'll
I'll
bring their
Matt
friend.
Rife. I'll FaceTime Matt Rife on stage.
Hey, the name of your podcast is who's Chrissy?
That's me. Chrissy, I call my, for me, like my fans, like I know if they're a podcast listener, if they call me Chrissy, whatever, Chrissy this, Chrissy
The name
that.
of the podcast is
Chrissy Chaos, and then I have a podcast called Hey Babe with Sal Volcano from the Impractical Jokers. But those are my two podcasts, and then ChrisDComedy.com for all. I'm on a whole stand-up tour. A mini Matt Rife.
You're a maxi Matt.
Yeah.
But Chris, thank you for coming in
Thank
here.
you, guys.
And after we sign off here, we're going to go take pictures. Don't take a picture with Scary. I'll tell you
No.
why. I'll tell you why.
Oh, here.
Well, for other reasons. Why?
Yeah.
Anytime a celebrity passes away, he's the guy who always has to post a photo of him with that celebrity.
Okay.
So if, God forbid, an air conditioner falls out a window here in Manhattan when you walk out, it will be published this afternoon.
Well, we'll take a picture together, and I'll do it Scary, but I'm going to turn my back like I'm Sia.
Yes.
Do it. See ya. We love her, too. All right. Chris Distefano, thank you for coming in.
Thank you,
And
guys.
congratulations on everything.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.